very moment. Yeah. Oh, okay, well, so welcome. We have a special guest today, and this is Kasha Garcia. She is a coach with Emerge Sales Training, and she's been my personal coach for several months or a few months, and she's coached a couple of people on the call in their Sales Foundation. So we're just really honored to have her here. And this is my last week, kind of changed today, but this is going to be my last week of coaching. And it hit me that I could have, like we were just chatting, and that she could come and help us with this really amazing, probably like, I think the linchpin that I've seen the major results in my business is understanding this issue or this topic. And so I just really am so excited because she has done a podcast on Emerge Sales Training that you can guys, I can give you that link later. That's been very helpful for me in thinking about how to break down my time. And so she's really a master at that. So I'm really glad that she's here, and please take it away, Kasha.
Thanks for the intro, Lita. It's nice to see some familiar faces. And Lisa, it's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard lots of great things about you, so it's good to put a face to a name. So I'm excited to be here tonight, and obviously your time is valuable, my time is valuable, and so I want to make sure that we make the most of our time tonight. And so I quickly just want to let you guys know what to expect from the call tonight, and then we'll dive in. So as Lita and I have been chatting, a kind of reoccurring theme that's been coming up has been this conversation around goal setting and planning. Super sexy topic. I know. You guys are so thrilled. You're like, yes, goal setting and planning, my favorite. So tonight, that's what we're going to be talking about. Specifically, what is hard about goal setting and why it's important. And then we're going to get into some nitty gritty. So this will require some work on your part. So hopefully you guys brought your planners or calendar and a pen or pencil and a notepad, because we're going to set some actual goals for each of you, or maybe for one of you. Maybe we might have some time for a couple of, round robin, one-on-one coaching. So this really is going to be an interactive training. So if you guys don't talk, we'll just kind of be waiting until it'll be like Ferris Bueller, Bueller, anybody, until somebody talks. So I'm just warning you. And once we set the goals, then we're going to actually get into the tactical work of breaking it down. And this is where your planner comes into play, right? Where it's maybe a lot of you, maybe you've set a goal. How many of you have set goals before? And then you set the goal and then you're like, now what? What do I do? So we're actually going to break it down into what are the activities you need to do in order to accomplish that goal, and then what does it look like to plan it out and then execute the plan. So my goal, because I set goals too, by the end of this call is for you guys to be feeling excited about goal setting and to be feeling more confident, to be able to more effectively plan, so that you know exactly what you need to do on any given day, week, month in order to reach your goals. How does that sound? Sound good? Cool. Okay. So before we dive in, is there anything else anybody would like to make sure we go over tonight?
Some help with time blocking?
Time blocking. Cool. Thank you, Shelly. And when you say time blocking, what's hard for you when it comes to time blocking?
Understanding really what it is. Because
Okay.
we talk about it all the time and I'm not clear on what it is really.
Okay. Got it. Awesome. Anyone else?
I know when life gets crazy and all these unexpected things happen, how do you not get totally derailed from your plan?
When life happens. Make lemonade. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Anyone else? Cool. All right. So let's get into the fun stuff. Let's talk about goal setting. What is hard about goal setting?
Probably not setting things too high or too low. Where to really be.
Too high or too low. Okay. What else?
I think the action items that are most appropriate, I think, are a little bit harder for me than necessarily the setting of the goal itself.
So you can set the goal, but then what do you actually need to do to be able to accomplish that?
Right, and making sure I'm consistently doing the things.
Tell me more about that, Ashley. When you say like doing the things.
I don't like to use my kids as an excuse, but like it is hard to kind of plan certain things on specific times just because they are very young, and it's getting a little bit easier. So for example, I'll know, okay, I need to be doing something, with my leaders based upon a certain goal, and just making sure, we're consistently making those calls a priority, that, we're covering what needs to be covered. That's just kind of one example, I guess.
So kids kind of getting in the way of plans.
Yeah, just trying to prioritize and not let things slip through the cracks.
Prioritize. Good one. Okay, cool. What else? What challenges do we have when it comes to goal setting or planning? Talk about those.
Sometimes even prioritizing the goals themselves, like, which should be your focus first or consume more of your time or energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. What else?
I don't know what I don't know, so I can't help.
What is that? Tell me more about that, Lisa.
I don't know what I don't know to ask.
Okay, so it's all new. You've never done it before.
Kind of. I was doing it, but I didn't know what I was doing. But now I'm really doing it. So now I need to know what I'm doing.
Got it. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, and so when you're trying it now, because you're going through Direct Sales Foundation right now, correct?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. And so when you went through week 1, because your group I think is on maybe week 3 or week 4, if I'm not mistaken.
We're starting week 3. I've been doing week 3 homework.
Perfect. Okay. So you guys have been through week 1 where we talk about, right, stop feeling crazy and planning and prioritizing goal setting. So when you actually tried to do it, what was challenging? Like, where did you find yourself getting stuck?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, no problem. Not a problem at all. Hopefully some light bulbs will go off for you. So some of this may be a refresher, and I know all of you have been through Direct Sales Foundation. So this will probably be a refresher, but would you all agree that basics are important?
Yeah.
Why are basics important?
You have to lay a good foundation or you can't build.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on, Lisa. Why?
Things will fall through the cracks or crumble or fall apart.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. It's like building a house, right? And if we're building a house, we want to make sure we've got a really solid, firm foundation. Because if we don't, right, then the house comes crumbling down later. It's like kind of like House of Cards, which we don't want, right? So, and it's funny, I know some people when they've taken the course or when we have conversations like this, like, really, we're talking about goal setting and planning. Like, can we move on to something more? But this is kind of the crux of it all, because if we can't effectively plan and prioritize or know what it is that we want to accomplish, how will we do anything? Right? Cool. Okay, so I just want to recap really quickly what I have in terms of what's hard about goal setting or planning. So, Shelly, you mentioned, right, the goal's either too high or it's too low. Ashley, you talked about action items. So, what are those action items we need in order to accomplish the goal, and how do we prioritize them? And then sometimes, if we have maybe multiple goals, like goals within goals, how do we prioritize those things? Where should we really be focusing our energy? And then for some of us, like Lisa, it's a little new, right? So it's like, how do I even do something I've never done before? Did I miss anything? Hello to those of you joining us. We're talking about goal setting and planning and what's hard for you when it comes to goal setting and planning. Anything else?
I have one more. When you set a goal and you don't reach it, and how do you reset and not get down on yourself for not making that?
Can anyone relate to Shelly?
Yes.
Feeling
That
that
was
way?
a good one, Shelly.
Yes. Even me. I'm like, that's why it says stop crying on the coffee mug. Everyone's like, why does it say stop crying? It's like, you'll see. Okay. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Janice.
Hi.
You. Thanks for joining. Glad you're able to make it. We are talking about goal setting and planning. Was there anything you wanted to add to the conversation in terms of what's hard for you when it comes to goal setting or planning?
Well, I think for me, planning is time. I can plan, well, like Shelly was saying, resetting your goal if a plan doesn't work out. So I've been trying a couple times now with my aunt to get together. She lives up in Pennsylvania, to talk to her about it. And every time I make the plan, it doesn't work out. She can't do it at the time, even after we planned it and all that kind of stuff. So then it's time consuming to keep rescheduling also.
Mm-hmm. So, and Lita mentioned that earlier, you weren't here, but it was like when life happens, right? Like, what do we do? Okay. Thank you for that.
Good night, Scarlett. Can I make a cupcake?
You can have a cupcake.
Can I have half of it?
You can have a cupcake.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. I'm sorry. My daughter wants to eat her cupcake, so she's eyeing on it. Sorry.
We all want cupcakes. Share the cupcakes,
This
Janet.
cupcake this big. It's like little cupcake, just one piece. It's like,
Okay.
well, for me, like goal and planning is like my forte. So I love to plan, but then it's like when others don't reciprocate, I get very just very, very disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking like, oh my goodness, how can they do this to me? But then not everybody's on the same page in terms of being able to plan. So it's like, let it go. Let it go, letting it go and not taking it personal. That's very hard for me.
Mm. So when others maybe can't effectively plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Planning,
little upset.
planning is a skill set, right? We don't come out of the womb like knowing how to effectively plan and prioritize. It's something that has to be learned, just like anything else. And some of us are really, really good at it, and some of us suck at it. So the first thing I want to break down is goal setting. And goal setting is hard for two reasons. The first reason being maybe it's a little too vague. I think by now, probably most of you have heard about talking about a clear definition of success. So when you hear that phrase, clear definition of success, what do you think about, or how does that make you feel?
Something that makes you feel empowered. I mean, but whichever way it comes through. Success comes in many different forms, but for my case, a lot of times, yeah, money is important, but it's also attached to feeling empowered. Like I have certain skill sets that cannot be quantified, but it's something that I acquire.
Yeah. Well, Janice, what I love that you said is that it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? So what your definition of success is going to be probably totally different than maybe what Lisa's definition of success is.
Yeah.
But regardless, we're both going to be successful if you've clearly defined that for yourself as far as what that looks like. So when we talk about rank, right, I know I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about rank here. Is that a clear definition of success?
It's one of the measures of success.
But is it clear?
Yeah, it spelled out exactly what you have to get to that rank.
Right, but do you know exactly what you need to do in order to do that?
Not necessarily, but I don't think that's part of the definition.
Right, but it's a little vague, right? We can't exactly see what that looks like, right? It's like, oh, I want to be here, right? Let's say, like, let's use silver as an example, right? Silver is my goal. If we've never been silver, do we know what that looks like?
No.
Do we know what
Not
it's going to
really.
be? Do we know exactly what actions we need to take in order to get there?
I
The
used to think rank was simple until I learned Emerge and I was able to break it down into weekly goals, and I realized how much simpler it actually could be than just that definition of what that rank is.
Right, because if you set your goal, right, if your clear definition of success was silver, and this kind of translates back to what Shelley brought up about setting a goal and not reaching it. If you set a goal for silver and you didn't hit it, and so you set a goal for silver again and you didn't hit it, and you set a goal for silver again and you didn't hit it, how do you start to feel?
Bad.
Defeated.
Discouraged.
Discouraged, bad, crazy, right? It's like the definition of insanity, trying to do the same thing over and over again, and yet it's not happening. And it's probably not because you maybe didn't necessarily know how, but maybe it wasn't clear enough. Right? So when we think about silver, right, really pulling that down into, okay, what does that exactly look like, right? How much volume is that? How many enrollments is that? Which breaks down to how many appointments is that? Which breaks down to how many people do we need to call? Do you see where I'm going? Does that make sense to all of you?
Yeah.
Right? Really being able to drill down because, right, if we figured out how many people we needed to call, how many appointments we needed to have, how many enrollments we needed to have, and we did all those things, and we didn't hit silver, would you still be successful?
Yes.
Why?
Because you met your goal. You did what you're supposed to do. You did the things you're supposed to do.
Yes.
The
Yes.
reward will come eventually.
Yes. Because can we control rank? Is it entirely up to us?
Not
No.
entirely.
No. Right? What can we control?
Who we call.
Mhm.
The steps we take.
Even
Yes, our own activities, right? And so if we have a clear definition of success, it's more so about the activities and not the destination. Because if we knew the exact activities, the actions we needed to take in order to accomplish our goal, if we did all those things and still didn't meet the goal, we could still be successful. Right? It's about controlling the controllables rather than focusing on outcomes, because can we control outcomes?
Nope.
Cool. So the true purpose of a goal is to really understand the activities that you need to do. Then you can kind of relinquish yourself from the goal, remove that pressure, and just say, okay, I just need to focus on these 3 things. If I do these 3 things, I'm going to be successful no matter what. How does that feel to you guys? Good?
Well, it makes a lot of sense.
Is there a but there?
No?
Okay, cool. I was like waiting for it. I was like, I sense it, maybe not. Cool. Okay, so who is open to some coaching here? We're all friends. Cool, Lisa, awesome. Thanks, Lisa. You're so great. And everybody else here who's on the call, I don't want you tuning out here. So grab your pencil, grab your pen, hopefully it's a pencil, and notepad, and you can kind of follow along with me, right? Maybe your goal is different, but the steps you're going to take are probably going to be pretty similar to what I'm going to be doing with Lisa. So Lisa, let's talk about a goal that you have. Do you have a income goal or an enrollment goal?
My goal is to make phone calls.
Make phone calls.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm really starting at the beginning.
Perfect.
And so
And
just
how many phone calls would you like to make?
Are you talking weekly or monthly?
Great question, Shelley.
that's a good question.
How about just this week? It's Monday, right? End of Monday. Just this week.
I'm starting small. I'm building up. I'm thinking 6 phone calls.
6 phone
That's-
calls.
That's it.
I like that you're starting small. Why would starting small actually be helpful?
It's an achievable goal for me right now. I want to do what I set out to do.
Yeah, because sometimes, right, Shelley talked about this, right, setting the goal too high. Sometimes we get really ambitious because we're really excited and we're like, yeah, I could totally do it. Right? They're like, I'm gonna, call 20 people. And then we actually sit down to do it and we're like, oh my gosh, I have to call 20 people. Where do I start? Who do I call? When do I call them? What do I say? Right? Then we get into like analysis paralysis, and then what happens?
Procrastination, nothing happens.
Yeah, we end up not doing it, right? Not because we didn't not want to, but perhaps we did set the goal too high. So when it comes to goal setting, sometimes for some of you, right, maybe those small goals is not enough for you, right? Some of us maybe need a little bit more. And so what you can do is you can set what I like to call a maximum, like an outrageous goal, right? Then you can set a target goal. That's absolute, like 6 goals. That's your target, Lisa. And then minimum, this would be what I call I don't suck if, right? I don't suck if I at least make 3 phone calls.
Okay.
Right? Because if you set that I don't suck if goal at 3 and you made 3 phone calls, how would you feel?
Okay, say it again. I was writing. I was thinking.
If you let's say you set this minimum goal,
Mhm.
right? Your I don't suck if goal at 3 phone calls,
Mhm.
right? Target was 6. If you started with 3 and you successfully did it, how would you feel?
I would feel good, even though I didn't do 6. I would be very happy that I actually made a phone call.
Right. And do you think you'd actually probably be more motivated to make
Yes.
3 more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sometimes those little tiny goals, right? When we've got these really big goals, let's use rank as an example, right? Look at it in terms of volume. If you need 9,000 in volume, break it down. Right? Okay, I want to bring in 1,000 this month and 1,000 next month and 1,000 the month after that. Because if you did that consistently, would you ultimately get to the big goal where you want to be?
Eventually.
Yeah. Versus we're kind of stuck in analysis paralysis because we're like, oh my gosh, there's so much I don't even know where to start. And then we don't do anything. will we ever get to where we want to go?
Oh.
Okay. And so, Lisa, with these 6 phone calls, what are you hoping to accomplish?
I'm hoping to get off the phone and feel good. And even if somebody says no, to be okay with that. Like I said, I'm starting small. I mean, I just want to not want to quit. I'm not going to quit, but I just want to be able to just keep on going. And even though it's not the answer maybe I want to hear. So for me, that would be successful.
What are you calling for?
Right now, all I'm doing is following up with people that I've left hanging over the last 2 years. I'm just calling old people, old contacts, people who have purchased in the past. And I wasn't really doing the business, so I got all excited to share with them, but I didn't ever take care of them. So I am recontacting all these people. And so far, everybody wants to talk, so I've been okay. But
so
that's all I'm doing right now.
Are you trying to set appointments with them?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Either on the phone or in person.
Excellent. So that's the goal. Set appointments.
Yeah.
How many appointments would you like? What would be like, I don't suck if I set at least this many appointments?
2. In this week?
In this week.
2.
Excellent. This is perfect. You want to know why it's perfect? I'm going to do some math for you here.
Okay.
So maybe some of you are not mathematicians or mathematics. Is mathematics a word? Yeah,
yes.
Math is a word. But I'm not very good at math. I rely on my calculator. But statistics show that 30% of the people we contact will actually book an appointment with us. Okay, so if you contact 6 people, that was your target.
Mm-hmm.
What's 30% of 6? Want me to bust?
2,
2.
2, 3,
2.
2, 2.
2. Which is perfect, right? Because your goal is to set 2 appointments. So if you contact 6 people this week, more than likely, math tells us, you'll probably book 2 appointments.
Okay.
How does that feel?
Good.
Sweet. Awesome.
I can do math.
Yeah, when we feel, math instead, because our feelings are friends.
What?
Our feelings are friends.
Oh, okay.
No, they're not.
Why not?
Unless they're good ones.
Yeah, unless they're the happy.
No.
Yeah, do our feelings lie to us?
Yes, they're very deceiving.
Sometimes tell us things that are not true, right? We start building up these stories in our heads, right? Because the person didn't call us back. And we're like, they didn't call me back. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have called them. I shouldn't have left them a voicemail, right? And they were just busy. So, right, when we feel, we like to math instead because numbers don't lie. Okay, so Lisa, you have a goal to set 2 appointments. You're going to call 6 people. Do you know who those 6 people are?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
But I can't find my Emerge planner. I've lost it.
Oh, no.
I know this. Yes, please, you could pray about that.
I could totally pray about that. I'm like
I don't know what I do with it.
Planner button.
Okay, it's giving me a hot flash just thinking about it.
Well, that's okay. Do you know the first initial of each of these 6 people?
Oh, wait, I have this here. Yes, okay. I have some stuff written here.
Perfect.
You want initials?
Sure.
JS.
Okay.
FT.
Okay.
DS. D as in dog S.
Okay.
LB.
Okay,
How many is that for?
that's 4.
SH
Okay,
and LR.
sweet. Okay, so we know how many phone calls we need to make. We know who we're gonna call. Now, what else do you think would be important in order for us to be able to successfully do this? If you don't know, it's okay. I'll tell you.
You have an answer?
You'll need their phone numbers.
Oh. Okay, I need phone numbers.
Yeah, I'm
That's
sure you have
easy.
phone numbers. I'm not going to ask you to give me their phone numbers.
Okay,
You have those.
yeah.
When are you going to call them?
I'm sorry, say that again.
When are you going to call them?
Well, I had it on my planner somewhere. I do have an appointment to talk to one person tomorrow at 5:10.
Perfect.
And she lives in another state. And that would be FT.
Perfect. You're already ahead of the game because you've already booked one of your 2 appointments. Congratulations.
And then I do have another appointment this Friday at like 6:30 to talk to SH. So I guess I already have 2 set up, but I was going to try and do more.
Perfect. Well, you've already met your goal.
Yay!
Awesome. How does it feel?
Good.
Goal
Good.
Goal setting, not so bad, right?
No.
You've
No,
already done it.
this makes total sense to me. I need bite-sized pieces. Just
Yeah.
give me little teeny things and I can achieve them, then I can move on. That's how I operate.
Yeah. Do you feel like we all need bite-sized pizzas? How Lord, the coffee I need more coffee, guys. I'm sorry. If you don't know me, which most of you have been here on my group calls, but I'm a coffee addict. I need coffee. If I start to not be able to speak straight, it means feed more coffee to the body. So,
I bet there's an oil for that.
there is an oil for that. And trust me, I have oiled up with the peppermint and the wild orange and what else did I use? Bergamot. Yes, all the wake me up oils, but also coffee. So, how many else of us here need bite-sized pieces? All
The
of us.
Emerge math has been huge for my team. I came home from convention after the training and did that call with everybody, and everybody's just always blown away by being able to see exactly what they need to do in a week to reach their goal in a year type thing. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah. Because then does that help you to feel a little less crazy? Removes a little bit of pressure. Now you just go and focus on the things you need to do. Instead of staring at this goal and wondering like, when will I get there? How will I get there? Will I ever get there? How come I keep setting this goal and I'm not getting there?
For me, I've got a lot of other things like everybody else that I have to do besides doTERRA.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to feel guilty about any of it. So by putting things into my calendar, doing what I need to do in bite-sized pieces, then I can move on to something else that I need to work on and not feel guilty that I'm not doing the business, because I want to move forward in the business, but I can only, it can't be my life. It has to be a piece of my life. And as I give time to that, then I can give time to something else and feel guilt-free.
Yeah.
Well, and that's actually working with, this time blocking thing has freed me to not feel guilty that I'm not cleaning my house, or because I already did that for an hour. I don't have to think about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's awesome.
That is so great.
And I can
hearing that. Yeah, time blocking's created freedom. Wait, what? I know some people are like, but isn't that too rigid? I'm like, actually, it helps you to feel freer. instead of like your work is running your life. Because what matters more, the number of hours you have or how you spend the hours?
Well, how you spend them. And
Mhm.
I get way more done. So
Yeah, because you know
it's been good.
exactly what you need to do. Here, you know how many phone calls to make, you know who to call. Sounds like you already have it in your planner when you're going to call them.
Yes.
So when the time comes, you sit down, you make the phone calls, you check it off your list, you move on to the next thing.
Yes, and that takes away the fear factor because I'm not thinking about the phone call at 5 o'clock because I am making dinner, I'm doing whatever other thing I'm supposed to be doing. So when it's time to do that, I just sit down and do it, and then it's done, and then I move on. So I'm not even stressing about doing it because I'm just not. I don't know why. I'm just not,
Yeah, because you have a clear definition of success.
I guess. I hadn't looked at it that way, but
Yeah, you know exactly what you need to do, when you need to do it, how you're going to do it, and so you're able to confidently go and do it. Awesome.
of course, yeah. Of course, I haven't had any negative repercussions yet, so I'll come crying, Lita. I get the no. So far, it's been positive.
Can you have yeses without nos?
So, okay. What was that?
Can
Is
you
that
have yeses without nos?
No, there's going to be no's in there. That's part of it.
Yeah,
Part of the program.
absolutely. And have you ever been to Starbucks before?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like the drive-through?
Yeah.
Okay, I know she's like, where's she going with this? I bring coffee into everything, you guys, okay? And has the barista in the drive-through ever asked you if you wanted to like add a cookie or get a muffin or something with your coffee?
Probably, yes.
And have you told the barista no?
Yes, I've told them no.
Were you rejecting the barista?
No. No.
You just didn't want the cookie, right?
Right.
Isn't that the same for us in our business? If people tell us no, are they rejecting us?
No. But it feels like it.
Right. And that takes time, but just understanding they're not rejecting you, right? It's just not for them. And back to the math, right? 20, 60, 20. 20% will, no matter what, they always will. 20% won't, no matter what, know how amazing you are. 60%, that's why we ask.
Okay. 20, 60, 20. I should write that down. Need to mute them.
So, Lisa, how are you feeling about goal setting now? You've got this down, girl. I think you just didn't realize you had it.
I'm good. I'm good.
Sweet.
I'm
Awesome.
good.
Thank you so much. You've been so great.
Thanks.
Shelly and Ashley, I'm going to pick on you guys. Is that okay? I promise I'm going to be nice, though. You know I'm nice.
That's fine.
So,
Okay.
both mentioned about like time blocking, specifically Shelly, and then prioritizing Ashley. You talked about that, and these kind of go hand in hand. So, Shelly and Ashley, I'm going to come to you in a minute, so just hang tight with me. But Shelly, when it comes to time blocking, where do you find yourself getting stuck?
Just I guess I don't block things. I mean, I put things in my calendar and I write down, this is the time I have to do this. This is the time I have to do that. And then I don't go anywhere else.
Okay.
So I think I need.
So let's use tomorrow as an example.
Mhm.
Okay, give me, let's say, 6 things that you want to accomplish tomorrow in your business.
6 things?
Yeah.
Well, I already know I'm doing the webinar at 2 tomorrow.
And what's the webinar for?
It's the doterra webinar on the heart and emotions. So I signed up for that for 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay. What else?
I don't have anything else written down. I need to make some phone calls.
Phone calls. Okay. How many phone calls would you like to make?
I guess 3.
Okay.
Start with 3.
And do you know who you're calling?
I'm going to try and call Penny again. We've been playing phone tag.
Okay.
I've got a whole list of people that I've sent Lita that I need to talk with.
Okay. Well, you have
I don't know
three
for
people.
sure.
You have 3. You said you wanted to call at least 3 people. So you
Yes.
said Penny. Who else?
I don't know right now. I haven't looked at the list.
Okay. I'm going to leave 2 blank spaces.
Okay.
What are you calling for?
Penny's to set up a one-on-one.
Okay. And then the other 2 we're just leaving blank right now. I don't want you getting stuck there. We'll come back to it. Does that sound good? Okay. So we've got the webinar. We've got our phone calls. What other things do you want to get done in your business tomorrow? Just tomorrow.
That's about it. I need to make phone calls. I don't have anything else set up.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, because I get on Facebook to see what's going on. I want to look at this advanced structure tips that Annette had done. And we'll see what Annette comes up with tonight for suggestions also. So,
Okay. So you want to review advanced structure tips.
yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. We'll leave it for there for now and we'll come back. How many hours do you have to work in your doTERRA business tomorrow?
Things got rearranged already, so I probably have about 3 solid hours.
3 hours. Okay. And do you know when that time is, when those 3 hours are? If they're split up, it's okay.
Yeah. Like from 11 to 12:30 and then 1 to 2. And then whenever the webinar finishes, 3 to 4.
And let me share my screen so you can see what I'm typing here. Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got an hour and a half here, right? You've got an hour here, and you've got an hour here. So you actually have 3.5 hours. Okay. So we've got 3.5 hours. Here's when you have the time. Okay. This webinar is going to take how long?
An hour.
1 hour. Okay. And so is it
That's
safe?
not even part of it. I didn't include that because that's from 2 to 3. So I didn't even include that. Okay.
All right. How long do you think it's going to take you to make 3 phone calls?
Not long at all.
Ballpark.
You
You think 30 minutes is fair?
30 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So you have an hour and a half here, and you have an hour here. Does this hour 1 to 2 exist? Because you said 3.5 hours. So do you actually have more time? Do you have 4.5 hours?
No, I have to pick up at 1 o'clock, so it's probably only a half an hour there, 1:30 to 2.
Okay. So would you rather make your phone calls from 11 to 12:30, like a 30-minute block here, or at 3 to 4?
I like to do it in the daytime.
Okay.
I do, in
These
the
are time.
middle of the afternoon.
So 11 a.m. better for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
Cool. That's done. And now we've got review advanced structure tips.
Mhm.
How long do you think that's going to take?
I'm thinking a half an hour. I don't know for sure how long it is.
Would you rather do it after your phone calls or 3 to 4?
3 to 4.
So you've got 30 minutes still left over.
Yeah.
You still have an hour here. You still have an hour and a half. You actually have time left. Woohoo! Okay. Do you remember what the 4 revenue generating activities are for your business? If you don't,
Not all of them. Phone calls,
okay.
anything revenating. One-on-ones, classes.
Yeah, so new appointments,
Okay.
right? Whether those are one-on-ones or classes.
Mhm.
Follow-up appointments, right? Those are
Yes.
revenue generating. OMG conversations, right? These
Yes.
are recruiting conversations.
Yes.
You want to learn more about the business, and your coaching calls. So we need to make sure we're spending the majority of our time doing these 4 different things.
Yep.
Why do we need to make sure the majority of our time we're spending doing these things?
Because they're the revenues. That's
Yeah.
where you make the money.
Yeah. Would you agree the magic happens when you're talking to people?
Mm-hmm.
So out of your 3.5 hours that you have tomorrow, how much time are you spending talking to people?
Half an hour.
And you're spending how much time doing other things?
Yeah, but that's only tomorrow.
Sure. Right.
No.
Right. That's only tomorrow, right?
Right.
But could we, is this webinar recorded or is this recorded? Could we be using our time more effectively? That's all I'm asking. It's a totally neutral question.
Yes, they are recorded, but when else do you do it?
Great question. Well,
You know, I can do them at night, just like I do everything else.
Well, what does the rest of your week look like? Right? What's your goal, let's say, for this month? Do you have a goal for this month, whether it's income or enrollment goal?
Well, we've kind of put things together. We have a coaching call on Wednesday because we didn't get to do much last week. So, yes, more enrollment than anything else, but I have follow-ups.
Okay, well, what's your enrollment goal?
Well, I always want to make it as 8, but you know, when I say 8, I just feel like it's too much.
Okay.
And then I put too much pressure on myself. So I have 2 already this month.
Perfect. So if you feel like that's too much and you know that you can't successfully do it, right? How many people did you enroll last month?
None.
Okay, and how many people did you enroll the month before that?
I don't.
Did you
Yeah,
enroll
I
eight
remember.
people? Did you enroll 8 people in December?
No, the only time I've ever enrolled that many was way back last May.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that change the goal if we haven't been able to successfully do that since last May?
Yeah.
Does that feel better?
Yeah.
Right? Versus beating yourself up over something when, right, we haven't even successfully done it since last May.
Yeah.
So what can we successfully do? Right? You've already enrolled 2 people this month. Awesome. We still have how many more weeks to go? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
How many people do you think you could enroll in the next 3 weeks?
Hopefully 2 more.
2 more. Okay. 2 enrollments. Do you know what your average order is? Or your closing percentage?
Depends on the month.
Just last month, like what was it?
Well, I didn't last month. I didn't have anything last month. I don't
Okay.
even know if I had anything in December. I had November.
Okay, what was it in November? Do you remember?
I don't know, but November is when I hit premiere.
Okay. Would it be fair to say maybe like 60%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to get my calculator out.
Yeah.
How's everybody else doing? You doing good? Hopefully I'm not losing you all. I gotta find my calculator.
I got mine. What do you need?
I need you to take 0.6 times 2.
1.2.
1.2. Okay. So is there 0.2 of a person?
Enrollments. So that's 2 enrollments.
Right, but is there 0.2 of a person?
No.
Okay. So we're going to round up to 2, right? Because we don't have, so if it's 1.2, we're going to round up because we don't have 0.2 of a person. So we're going to need to book at least 4 appointments.
Yeah.
In order to get these 2 enrollments.
Okay.
Can you book 4 appointments by the end of this month?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, are all 4 of these appointments going to show up?
Probably not.
Yeah, we're going to have some probably cancellations, no shows. So we need to build in a buffer, right? So do you think it would be a wise idea to probably schedule at least 5?
Oh, yeah.
Why would we schedule 5 appointments?
So that the ones that don't show up, at least I will have maybe 4.
Yeah, because if we scheduled 5 appointments, would we be more than likely successful in getting these 2 enrollments based on our closing percentage right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does that feel?
Good.
Cool. Okay. So now that you know how many appointments you need to schedule, right? Do you have your planner nearby?
Yep.
Okay.
Looking.
When would you like to actually have these appointments?
I have Friday afternoon available. I have Saturday.
Friday at what time?
2 or 3.
Okay, you said Saturday.
I have Saturday morning. I mean, I don't have anything Saturday until dinner time, so I'm available that whole time.
Okay, so if you're gonna block out a few hours for appointments,
Mm-hmm.
right? How many appointments would you say I would like to have X number of appointments on Saturday?
2 or 3 would work.
Okay, would you rather have 2 or 3?
Let's put down 2.
Okay, and so what times?
I don't know. I'm so wide open.
Yeah, so perhaps, do you think maybe that's where it's getting you stuck?
Yeah.
So
I'm not confined with kids anymore. Well,
yeah,
I
so
am now, but not the same way as you guys are.
would it be okay to actually decide on a time? Because who's in charge of your schedule?
Me.
And if you went to a doctor to book an appointment, would he say, "Oh, Saturday I'm wide open, anytime"?
Not.
Or would he say, "I could do Saturday at 10 or Saturday at 2"? So
Sounds good.
you choose the times. What times on Saturday? You wanted to book 2 appointments. What time slots?
10 and 1.
10 a.m., 1 p.m. Cool. All right. Let's look at the following week because we want to book 5 appointments. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need a couple more spots.
The following week.
Mhm.
Monday at 1.
Okay.
Next week it's busier.
You've got until the end of the month.
I know. I start leadership next Tuesday.
Okay. So what about the rest of this week? Is the rest of your days this week busy?
I already set up a follow-up call with somebody who's already purchasing on Thursday night. So I have that. I have Wednesday available. Friday, I'm probably doing a follow-up. Literally a follow-up with the lady who enrolled last week.
Okay.
So,
Well, looking at this, right, just for the next week, Monday to Monday, okay, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 appointment spots available.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to need to block out, I would say, at least 3 more.
okay.
That's to give some options, right? Doesn't mean you're going to use all 8 spots that you've blocked out for appointments, but just so when you're offering appointments, you have options for people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got your appointments, we've got your appointment times blocked out. In order to get these appointments, we're actually going to have to call people, right?
Yep.
So do you think it would be helpful to have time blocked out in your schedule of when you're going to make those calls?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we've got 30 minutes tomorrow.
Right.
Right. What about Wednesday?
I have an hour on Wednesday.
And would you like to use that whole hour for phone calls?
Probably.
Okay. Let's block out one more time. What about Thursday?
Thursdays, I work all day Thursday.
Okay, so
No, I
Thursday is a good day then.
Thursday's not a day.
Okay, perfect. So then perhaps Friday?
Friday I have time.
So if you don't use this 2 o'clock, right, you could do phone calls during that time. Or if you don't use this 3 o'clock, you could do phone calls during that time.
Right.
How does that feel?
Yep.
And then you just need to figure out who you're calling, right? You've got to make that list. So perhaps that's something you could do tomorrow, right? You've got an hour and a half extra.
Yep.
Make my call list for the week.
Yep.
How does all this feel?
Good.
Better?
Yeah. So click it up a little more so I can see the last, so I can take the screenshot.
Well, I'm going to
'Cause I
send
know I'm not, you're going to send it to us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. So you have a successful plan.
I know.
Was this helpful?
Yes.
So I think part of your challenge, if it's okay if I'm honest with you, is figuring out when you want to work. Because once you figure out when you want to work, then you're going to be able to figure out how to spend that time.
Right.
But if you don't know when you're working, how will you know what you should be spending your time doing? Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's probably why the time blocking is a little hard for you, just because you're not quite sure when you want to work.
Mm-hmm.
So would it be okay to give you maybe 2 more helpful tips and then we're going to wrap up, because I know we're pretty much done here for tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. So figure out, and this is for everyone here as well, how many hours you want to work. But then you need to double check. Do you actually have those hours? And how do you figure that out? Write down in your planner all your have to do's. Right? If you have kids, you got to drop the kids off, pick the kids up. That has to be on the planner, non-negotiable. We all have to eat. We all have to sleep. Right? Your have to do's, that all goes in your planner first. Then if you have any other appointments, maybe you have a doctor's appointment, or maybe you're going to see a play, or whatever it might be, that goes in your planner next. The time you have left over is the time you have. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got to make sure, right? Sometimes we want to work more hours than we actually have.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, I actually don't have 30 hours. Oops. And we're wondering why we feel like crazy people. Like, you don't have 30 hours. You only have 20. And then you need to make sure, right, that your time, the work hours you have, are on money-making activities. Magic happens when we're talking to people. If we're not talking to people, will we be able to book appointments? Will we be able to enroll people?
Nah.
Will we be able to get to Premier or Silver or Gold or wherever we're going?
No.
Make sure your business hours are spent on business and not on busyness. Right? Making pretty graphics, going on Instagram or Facebook. Is that going to help you get to your goal? So I will put the podcast that I did on prioritizing and time blocking. I will put it here in the notes, and I'll make sure to share this with Lita so you all can have it. I'll put it in the chat for you guys as well. But I think it would be really helpful for you since our time is limited here, right? And I can't go into a, 30-minute, I don't know how long that podcast is, but I don't think it's 30 minutes. But was this helpful for a few of you here tonight?
Oh, yeah.
I want to quickly review my notes here. So we addressed like the too high or too low, right? So it's I don't suck if, target, and outrageous goals. Break down your action items, right? If it's I want to make phone calls, is that a clear definition of success? No. Right? It's how many phone calls? Who do you want to call? When do you want to call them? Ghostbusters. Sorry. Right? What should be my focus? What should be your guys' focus?
Get people enrolled.
Revenue generating activities, appointments,
Yeah.
talking to people,
Revenue generating.
right? Setting a goal and not reaching it. We talked a little bit about that. Change the goal. That's why we always recommend use pencil. It's okay to change the goal, right? A lot of you guys talked about life happens. When you have a planner, that's why write it in pencil. When life happens, sometimes you have to adjust the plan or adjust the goal or adjust both. If you're not successfully doing something, don't set the goal to be that again if you weren't able to successfully accomplish it, right? Change the goal.
Yep.
What are your takeaways from all this? I want to hear from each of you that are still here. One takeaway.
Keep doing what I'm doing.
Good one. Yes, so you're on the money. Who else? Takeaways.
I like the instructions about making sure that you're spending your time on revenue generating activities.
Revenue generating activities. Awesome. Thank you. I didn't even get your name. What's your name?
I'm Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Janice,
I think being consistent.
being consistent.
Yeah.
Being consistent in what?
Appointments, call people, stick to your time blocking, whatever works for you, just do it. Don't quit.
Do the stuff. That's what I
Yeah.
You like that technical
Do your
term.
thing.
Do the stuff.
Do your thing.
Thanks, Jim.
I like make sure your business hours are spent on business, not busyness. But that's a tough one. That's a really tough one for me. But because of, like you mentioned, the social media thing, and I have another business, and a lot of it is based on social media. So it's like, it's a time suck, but it's also something I have to time block for.
Yes. Yeah, if you block out the time and then set a timer. Right? Because otherwise we could get totally lost in the Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook world. And Lita, if you have not shared Newsfeed Eradicator with her, please do. Thank you, Dana. Shelly, what's your takeaway?
Setting goals. That's the biggest thing. I haven't really been setting goals to time block anything.
Yeah, setting goals so you can plan.
Newsfeed Eradicator.
Yeah. Lita, what's your takeaway?
This is what Kasha does for me every single week, and I so appreciate it. And it does end for me, and so I was really good for you to hear you speak again to them. But I was just listening to them, like, yes, this is what you ask me every week, or almost every week, and so it was just good for me to hear it. And then of course we'll have this recording that we can just have you in our ear and listen to it again and again. We need to play it. I think it was really good.
Gone through the course. go back to week 1. If you find yourself feeling crazy or chaotic or like I can't keep up or why can I not get everything done, right? Or why is this business starting to feel like it's taking over my life? Go back to week 1. More often than not, when we're feeling overwhelmed or chaotic, it's because we're not planning.
Mm-hmm.
And we think we don't have enough time to plan, right? I'm too busy. I don't have enough time to plan. You don't not have time to plan. Because if you plan, then you can just focus on your activities and you don't have to feel like a crazy person. You just go and do the stuff, like Janice said. Cool? If you guys would like some more help with this, I would be happy to chat with you further. You can definitely reach out to me. I will put my info in the chat below. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. I do hope this was helpful, and I'm going to put the podcast in the chat as Lita wraps up. So I'm going to be quiet now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kasha.
Thank you very much. One of the things that I would like us to do, I had asked for everyone to send me a list of 10 names of people that you would like to call. And that list of 10 actually came from Kasha. She gave me that idea to ask you guys to do that. Because when we hear, you know how when we first started in doTERRA, some of you are new and you may not have heard this, but when we first started, everyone, we always said, make a names list, make 100 names list. And it's overwhelming. When you sit down and think of 100 people, I don't know about you, but I would shut down. So one of the ways of time blocking, what we're going to be doing and kind of focusing on this skill in the next few weeks, is taking these names. And if you haven't sent it to me, that's fine. Go ahead and you can still text it over to me. If you don't have 10 names of people that are not customers yet, prospective customers, you can still text that to me. But I would like you guys to start thinking about making that names list for this week. So for this coming week, I'd like 10 more names of new customers. Doesn't mean you have to call them now. It could be people that, oh no, why does that scare you? Tell me why that scares you.
I'm not through my first 10 yet.
Oh, no. You're not going to, let me clarify. Thank you so much for asking that. I am so glad. That is scary, right? I'm not a slave driver. It's just a matter of when we think about people we want to reach out to, when we have classes or we want to make appointments or there's a BOGO. And sometimes when you sit down to work, I don't know about you, but my mind goes blank. Does anyone else have that feeling? You're not quite sure who to reach out to? So would it be helpful? So this activity is to be helpful to you, and I hope it is, for you to start to think of names now when there's no stress. There's not a big stress right now. We're just doing consistent activity. So by sending the 10 names, 10 more names, it doesn't mean that you have to act on that this week, but it means that you have a list as we're starting to build up to 30 names, and we're going to start to maybe reach out to them, or even up to 100 names if you'd like to go that far. That's totally your call. But I want to start small and measurable, and then I'd like to meet with you, and as we talk about how to plan that in your planner, and when will you call them, and help you to kind of take some of these steps and actually do the action steps, like the revenue generating activities, which is talk to people. So that is kind of what our initiative is this month, is to just learning how to manage our time. And that's why Kasha came on, and I appreciate her doing that. And I really would love to know what you thought. What are your thoughts? Did you have something you want to share, Lisa or Janice or Dana?
It's been very helpful. And I think, a lot of times it just seems so convoluted, all the things you have to do. You have to watch this seminar and go to this workshop and that. But I think, what Kasha says makes sense. You do have to connect with people. That's the core of this business. So, it's good to have head knowledge on how to do this and that, but I think at the end of the day, you need to be able to connect with people, which is not my forte, and I'm just but it's a learning experience.
No, and I think all of you are really, actually, when I think of each of you and your gifts, I think you actually are amazing communicators and connect with people. You reach out, and sometimes we all have different ways of doing that. Janice, you like to meet with people. Shelley likes to talk on the phone. We want to grow in those areas, even if we don't feel comfortable. I feel like that's sometimes hard for me to pick up the phone. Is that hard for anybody else to pick up the phone? Well, Lisa is like, I'm learning a lot from her and what she's doing. So I appreciate that we all have different gifts and strengths, but our goal is to help each other, to care for the customers and and serve them. And service, as we talked about, is sales. So by having a bigger impact, we also will impact our financial situation too. So that's why it's really important for our business to call people. So that's why the list is here. It's not some arbitrary list and I'm going to make you do it in 1 week. It is your list, but I want you to give you some accountability. So this week coming up, we're going to ask for, if you could text me 10 names. If you hadn't done it before, go ahead and add it in. Every week that you make send it to me at the end of the month, we'll do a raffle entry for a free Strength Finders 2.0 test and a bottle of grapefruit. So that's awesome. Yes. At least I think it's awesome. But and if you already have the book, we can talk about something else. But that's the end game. So we're going to go ahead and end right now. And I think, well, first of all, any questions or anything you really wanted to bring up with me before we end? I want to respect the time and Annette's call too. But anything else? Dana, Lisa, okay. And then, okay, well, great. Well, I hope you guys have a good evening. And there is a call for Annette if you'd like to come at 9 p.m. She's doing premieres and elites, or those who want to reach those ranks. And it's an oil frenzy business builders, or Mindset of a Champion is the link. And you can go over and watch it if you like. So, all right. Oh, thank you so much, Kasha. And I'm going to go ahead and download these notes. I can download save the chat. And I have it in my folder on my hard drive. So I'll be able to post that too, all the little notes she put. So. All right. Well, thank you again. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.